The wedding hall was cold. Not because of the air conditioning, but because of the man standing beside me at the altar. Kian Ashford, the heir to the Ashford Industries empire, looked like he would rather be anywhere else. His silver eyes stared straight ahead, never once glancing at me. His jaw was set tight, and his expensive black suit made him look more like he was attending a funeral than his own wedding. I was Elliot Hayes, a simple Omega from a middle-class family. My parents owned a small bookstore that was drowning in debt. When the Ashfords offered this arrangement, my parents cried with relief. I cried too, but for different reasons. "You may now kiss," the officiant said. Kian turned to me slowly. For 1 second our eyes met. His were like winter storms, beautiful but deadly. He leaned in, and his lips barely touched my cheek. It was not a kiss. It was a dismissal. The reception was worse. Kian sat beside me at the main table, but he might as well have been in another country. He answered questions from guests with one-word responses. When someone asked how we met, he said, "Business arrangement. No sugar-coating. No pretending." I tried to smile through it all. I tried to be the perfect Omega that society expected. Soft, agreeable, quiet. But when the last guest left and we were driven to his penthouse, reality hit me hard. This was my life now. Married to a man who looked at me like I was a piece of furniture that came with the apartment. The penthouse was huge. Everything was white, black or gray. No color, no warmth, just like him. "Your room is down the hall. Second door on the left," Kian said, loosening his tie. He did not look at me. "My room?" I asked. "We are not sharing? Why would we?" He finally looked at me, and his expression was blank. "This is a business arrangement. Nothing more. Stay out of my way, and we will get along fine." He walked away, leaving me standing in the massive living room with my small suitcase. I felt something crack inside my chest. I knew this was an arranged marriage. I knew he did not love me, but hearing it said so coldly made it real in a way I was not ready for. That night, I lay in the guest room that was now apparently my permanent room. The bed was comfortable, but I could not sleep. Through the walls I heard nothing. No movement. No sound. It was like living with a ghost. The next morning I woke up early. I was always an early riser, and old habits die hard. I went to the kitchen, thinking I would make breakfast. Maybe if I made myself useful, this would hurt less. I found the kitchen spotless and clearly unused. The refrigerator was nearly empty except for some bottles of water and what looked like meal prep containers with dates on them. Of course, he probably had a service that delivered his meals. Still, I found some eggs and bread. I could work with that. I was humming while cooking when I heard footsteps. I turned to see Kian standing in the doorway. He wore gray sweatpants and a black t-shirt. His dark hair was messy from sleep. For a moment, he looked almost human. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Making breakfast," I said, trying to sound cheerful. "Do you want some?" "I have my meals planned," he said. "Oh." I turned back to the stove. "Well, I made extra if you change your mind." Silence. Then footsteps walking away. I ate breakfast alone at the huge dining table. The eggs were good, but they tasted like disappointment. This became our routine. I would wake up. He would already be gone to work. I would spend the day trying to figure out what to do with myself in this cold, empty penthouse. He would come home late. We would avoid each other. Repeat. 1 week passed. Then 2. We barely spoke 10 words to each other. I started going back to my parents' bookstore during the day. At least there I felt useful. My dad was getting treatment for his heart condition now, thanks to the Ashford money. My mom smiled more. They thought I was living a dream. I did not tell them the truth. On the 15th day of our marriage, something changed. I came home earlier than usual and found Kian in the living room. He was on his laptop, typing furiously. His face was tense. "Is everything okay?" I asked. "Fine," he said without looking up. I should have gone to my room. I should have followed his rules. But something in his voice made me stop. "You look stressed," I said. "I said I am fine." His voice was sharp. I bit my lip. Then, without thinking, I walked over and placed a glass of water on the table beside him. At least stay hydrated, darling. The word slipped out. Darling. I used to call my cat Darling before she passed away. It was a habit. The typing stopped. Kian's hands froze over the keyboard. Slowly, very slowly, he turned his head to look at me. His silver eyes were wide, and for the first time since I met him, there was an actual expression on his face. Shock. What did you just call me? He asked, his voice quiet. My heart hammered. I am sorry. It slipped out. I did not mean. Say it again. He interrupted. What? Say it again. His eyes were locked on mine now, intense in a way I had never seen before. My mouth went dry. Darling. Something flickered across his face. His jaw unclenched. His shoulders dropped slightly, and for just a moment, the ice in his eyes melted. Then he stood up abruptly, closed his laptop, and walked past me toward his room. But as he passed, I heard him whisper something so quiet I almost missed it. Do not call me that. But his voice shook when he said it, and I realized that maybe, just maybe, there was something beneath all that ice after all. After the Darling incident, things got weird. Not bad weird, just different weird. Kian started coming home earlier. Not much earlier, but enough that I noticed. He would sit in the living room with his laptop, working silently while I read on the other couch. We did not talk, but the silence felt less empty. 3 days after I called him darling, I was making dinner again. I had given up on the idea that he would eat with me, but cooking made me feel normal. It reminded me of home. I was cutting vegetables when I felt someone watching me. I turned to find Kian standing in the kitchen doorway, his tie loosened and his suit jacket over his arm. You cook every day, he observed. Yes, I said. It relaxes me. The smell is. He paused, searching for words. Nice. My heart skipped. Was that a compliment? From Kian Ashford? Thank you, I managed to say. He stood there for another moment, then nodded and left. But that night, when I set my plate at the dining table, I found another plate across from me. And then Kian appeared, sitting down without a word. We ate in silence. He did not comment on the food. He did not look at me, but he ate everything on his plate. It became another new routine. Cooked. He ate with me. We did not talk, but we shared the same space. Then came the business gala. You need to attend with me on Saturday, Kian announced one evening. It is expected. Okay, I said. Wear something formal. I will have options sent to you. The next day, 3 designer suits arrived. All of them were beautiful and probably cost more than my parents' monthly income. I chose a deep blue one that made my eyes look brighter. Saturday evening, I walked out of my room dressed and ready. Kian was waiting in the living room, checking his watch. When he looked up and saw me, he froze. His eyes traveled from my face down to my shoes and back up again. Something flickered in his expression. Something hot and quick, before his mask slammed back into place. You look presentable, he said. Presentable, right? The gala was being held in a massive hotel ballroom. Everyone there was rich, powerful, or both. Omegas clung to their alpha partners, all of them looking perfect and polished. I felt out of place immediately. Kian's hand touched the small of my back, guiding me through the crowd. It was the first time he had touched me since our awkward wedding kiss. His hand was warm through my suit jacket. Stay close, he murmured. Some of these people are vultures. Okay, I whispered back. We made our rounds. Kian introduced me as his husband, but nothing more. People looked at me curiously. I could see the questions in their eyes. How did a nobody Omega land Kian Ashford? Kian! A loud voice boomed across the room. A tall alpha with blonde hair and a too-white smile approached us. His eyes immediately fixed on me with interest that made my skin crawl. Marcus, Kian said coldly. So this is the mysterious husband, Marcus said, looking me up and down in a way that felt invasive. My, you certainly have a type, Kian. Pretty little Omegas. I felt Kian stiffen beside me. How much did you pay for this one? Marcus continued, laughing like he had said something funny. Or did his family pay you to take him off their hands? The words hit me like a slap. My face burned. Watch your mouth, Marcus, Kian said. His voice was low and dangerous. Oh, come on. We all know how these arrangements work. The Omega gets money and status, the Alpha gets a warm body too. He did not finish. Kian moved faster than I could process. One moment Marcus was talking, the next he was stumbling backward, Kian's fist having connected with his jaw. The entire ballroom went silent. Talk about my husband that way again, Kian said quietly, and I will do more than bruise your jaw. I will destroy your company piece by piece. Marcus held his jaw, his eyes wide with shock and anger. But he did not say another word. He just turned and walked away quickly. Kian grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the exit. We left the gala, the whispers following us out. In the car, the silence was thick. My hand was still in his. I could feel his pulse racing against my palm. You did not have to do that, I finally said. Yes, I did. His grip tightened slightly. You are my husband. No one disrespects you. You disrespect me every day, I said before I could stop myself. His head snapped toward me. In the dim light of the car, his eyes looked almost silver. What? You treat me like I am invisible, I continued, the words pouring out now. You act like I am a burden you have to carry. You make me feel like I am nothing. That is not. He stopped, his jaw working. I do not mean to make you feel that way. Then why? I asked. Why are you so cold? I know this is an arrangement. I know you did not choose me. But we are married now. We live together. Would it kill you to at least try to be kind? The car pulled up to the penthouse. Kian did not move. He just sat there, still holding my hand, staring straight ahead. My parents had an arranged marriage, he finally said. My mother was an Omega. My father was an Alpha heir, just like me. She loved him. He tolerated her. She spent 30 years trying to make him love her back. When she died 5 years ago, he remarried within 6 months. It was like she never existed. My chest ached. I saw what that kind of hope did to her, Kian continued. How it destroyed her slowly. I did not want to do that to you. I thought if I kept my distance, if I made it clear this was just business, you would not hope for something that was not there. And what if I want to hope? I whispered. He finally looked at me, really looked at me. Then you are setting yourself up to get hurt, Elliot. It was the first time he had said my name. Maybe, I said. But maybe some things are worth getting hurt for, darling. I said it on purpose this time. The word hung between us in the car. Kian's breath caught. His thumb rubbed across my knuckles, just once. Then he let go of my hand and got out of the car. But as we rode the elevator up to the penthouse, he stood closer to me than necessary. And when we said goodnight, he hesitated at his bedroom door. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For hoping. Then he closed his door, leaving me standing in the hallway with my heart beating too fast. Something had shifted tonight. I could feel it in the air, electric and uncertain. The ice was cracking. The morning after the gala, I woke to the smell of coffee. Real coffee, not the instant kind I usually made. I padded out of my room in my pajamas and stopped dead in the kitchen doorway. Kian was making breakfast. Well, making was generous. He was staring at the stove like it was a puzzle he needed to solve. There were eggs in a pan, but they looked more like scrambled rubber than actual food. What are you doing? I asked. He jumped slightly, then tried to play it cool. Making breakfast. Those eggs are dead, I said, walking over. Like, very dead. He looked down at the pan and frowned. They look fine. They are smoking, darling. The word slipped out again. I really needed to stop doing that. But when I looked up, Kian was staring at me with that same intense expression from before, like I had said something in a language only he could understand. Here, I said quickly, taking the spatula from his hand. Let me help. We stood side by side at the stove. I scraped out his burnt eggs and started fresh. Kian watched everything I did with focus. Why are you making breakfast anyway? I asked. You always have your meal prep. I thought. He paused. You cook for me every day. I should try to return the gesture. My hands stilled. I looked at him, and he was staring determinedly at the eggs like they held the secrets of the universe. That is really sweet, I said softly. It is practical, he corrected quickly. Equal distribution of household labor. Right? Practical. I smiled. Very romantic. I did not say it was romantic. I know. I did. He fell silent, but I caught the smallest twitch at the corner of his mouth. Was that almost a smile? We ate breakfast together. I taught him how to make proper scrambled eggs. He was a terrible student, too impatient, but he listened carefully to every word I said. You have to be gentle with them, I explained. Low heat, slow movements. If you rush, they get tough. Noted, he said seriously, like I was teaching him business strategy instead of breakfast. After we ate, Kian surprised me again. I need to visit the main office today. Would you like to come? To your office? I asked, surprised. You have been spending all your time at your parents' bookstore. I thought you might like to see where I work. Unless you are busy. No, I am not busy, I said quickly. I would like that. Something flickered in his eyes. Relief? Ashford Industries was intimidating. The building was all glass and steel, reaching up into the sky like a monument to power. Employees in expensive suits rushed around with tablets and briefcases, and they all stopped to stare when Kian walked in with me. Mr. Ashford, the receptionist stammered. We did not know you were bringing a guest. This is my husband, Elliot, Kian said clearly. He will be visiting today. Husband. He said it like it mattered, like he was proud of it. We rode the elevator to the top floor. Kian's office was enormous, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire city. His desk was neat, organized, with only a laptop and a single pen. Wow, I breathed. The view is incredible. I barely notice it anymore, Kian said. But he was watching me instead of the view. He had meetings throughout the morning. I sat on the couch in his office, reading a book I had brought. But I could not help watching him work. He was completely different here, confident, decisive, commanding. This was his element. During a break, his assistant brought in lunch. But instead of 2 separate meals, there was one large spread meant for sharing. I did not order this, Kian said, frowning. Mrs. Chun from accounting saw Elliot with you, his assistant said with a knowing smile. She insisted on sending up her special lunch. She said you need to feed your new husband properly. Kian looked embarrassed. Tell Mrs. Chun thank you. We ate together and the food was delicious. Homemade dumplings, rice, stir-fried vegetables. Tasted like love and care, the kind of food you make for family. Mrs. Chun has worked here since my father's time, Kian explained. She has known me since I was a child. She worries. She cares about you, I corrected gently. Yes, he admitted quietly. She does. After lunch, Kian had a video conference. I tried to stay quiet, but about halfway through, I noticed him rubbing his temples. He was stressed. The meeting was not going well. Without thinking, I got up and brought him a glass of water. I set it down quietly beside him and was about to leave when his hand shot out and caught my wrist. He looked up at me, then mouthed, "Stay." So I stayed. I sat on the couch where he could see me, and somehow his shoulders relaxed a little. He handled the meeting better after that, his voice stronger. When the call ended, he turned to me. Thank you. I did not do anything, I said. You were here, he replied. That helped. My heart did a little flip. The rest of the day passed in a comfortable rhythm. I read while he worked. Occasionally, he would explain what he was doing, walking me through complex business decisions. I did not understand most of it, but I loved listening to him talk. His voice was deep and steady, and when he talked about his work, passion crept in. You really love this, do not you? I observed. I do, he said. Building something, creating stability. My grandfather started this company with nothing. My father expanded it. I want to make it better, make it matter. It already matters, I said. You provide jobs for thousands of people. You create opportunities. He looked at me strangely. Most people only care about the money. I am not most people, darling. There it was again. That word. And again that reaction, his breath catching, his eyes going wide for just a moment. You really need to stop calling me that, he said, but his voice was soft. Do you really want me to? I asked. He did not answer. He just stared at me across his desk, and the air felt heavy with something unspoken. His phone buzzed, breaking the moment. He answered it, and his expression changed immediately. When? Is he all right? My stomach dropped. Something was wrong. I will be there in 20 minutes, Kian said, already standing. He looked at me. We need to go. It is my grandfather. He is in the hospital. We rushed to the hospital. In the car, Kian was tense, his jaw tight. Without thinking, I reached over and took his hand. He did not pull away. Instead, his fingers laced with mine, holding tight. He is going to be okay, I said softly. You do not know that, Kian replied. No, I admitted. But I believe it. And I am here with you. His grip tightened. Why are you being so kind to me, after how I have treated you? Because you are my husband, I said simply. And because I think under all that ice, you are someone worth caring about. He looked at me then, really looked at me, and I saw something crack in his expression. Elliot. But we arrived at the hospital before he could finish. His grandfather was stable. It was a minor heart episode, the doctors said. He would be fine with rest. But seeing the old man in the hospital bed, looking small and fragile, clearly shook Kian. Stop looking at me like I am dying, boy, his grandfather rasped. I am too stubborn for that. You need to take it easy, Kian said. I will take it easy when I am dead. The old man's eyes shifted to me. So you are the one who married my idiot grandson? Yes, sir, I said. Good. Maybe you can teach him how to smile. I have not seen him do that in years. He looked at Kian. This one. You treat him right. Kian hesitated. That pause tells me everything, his grandfather grumbled. Listen to me, Kian. I do not have time for your nonsense anymore. Life is too short to waste it being afraid. I am not afraid, Kian said. You are terrified, his grandfather shot back. Just like your father was. Just like I was when I married your grandmother. But you know what? I chose to love her anyway. Best decision I ever made. 50 years together. And I miss her every single day. He pointed at me. This one looks at you like you hung the moon. Do not be stupid enough to waste that. Kian's face went red. Grandfather. Go home. Both of you. And Kian, try being happy. It will not kill you. In the car on the way home, neither of us spoke. But Kian never let go of my hand. That night, neither of us could sleep. I found Kian on the balcony at 2 in the morning, staring out at the city lights. He wore a simple t-shirt and sweatpants, his hair messy. He looked more human than I had ever seen him. Could not sleep either? I asked, stepping outside. He shook his head. Keep thinking about my grandfather. He is going to be fine, I assured him. I know, but he is getting older. And it made me realize. He trailed off. Realize what? That time is not infinite, Kian said quietly. That I have been wasting it. I moved to stand beside him at the railing. The night air was cool, but not uncomfortable. You are not wasting time. You are building an empire. An empire is worthless if you have no one to share it with, he said. Then he turned to look at me. Elliot, I need to apologize to you. For what? For everything. For treating you like you were invisible. For making you feel unwanted. For being too much of a coward to even try. He ran his hand through his hair. The truth is, you scare me. I scare you? I asked, surprised. I am probably the least scary person on the planet. That is exactly why, Kian said. You are kind. You are genuine. You look at me like I am more than just a name and a bank account. And I do not know what to do with that. My heart ached. Kian. I told you about my parents, he continued. What I did not tell you is that I swore I would never let myself become like my father. I would never marry someone and make them miserable. So when my grandfather arranged our marriage, I thought the solution was simple: keep my distance. Do not let you hope for anything. Do not let myself feel anything. And has that worked? I asked softly. No, he admitted. Because every time you smile at me, every time you cook dinner, every time you call me, that word. He stopped, his jaw working. I feel something crack. And it terrifies me because I do not know what happens when all the ice melts. I took a breath, gathering courage. Maybe something beautiful happens. He looked at me, his silver eyes reflecting the city lights. Or maybe I disappoint you. Maybe I do not know how to be what you need. What I need is honesty, I said. What I need is for you to try. I am not asking for love, Kian. I am just asking for a chance. A real one. The silence stretched between us. Then, slowly, Kian reached out and touched my face. His hand was warm against my cheek. You deserve so much more than I can give you, he whispered. Let me decide what I deserve, I whispered back. He leaned in slowly, giving me time to pull away. But I did not want to pull away. When his lips touched mine, it was nothing like the awkward cheek kiss at our wedding. This was real. Soft and tentative and sweet. When we pulled apart, Kian rested his forehead against mine. I do not know how to do this, he admitted. Neither do I said. We can figure it out together. Together, he repeated, like the word was new. I like that. We stood there on the balcony, holding each other as the city slept below us. And for the first time since our wedding, I felt like maybe this marriage could be something real. The next morning, I woke to find Kian in the kitchen again. But this time, he was not attempting to cook. He was setting the table. 2 plates, 2 sets of silverware, orange juice poured into glasses. Good morning, he said when he saw me. And then, like it took all his courage, he added, Did you sleep well? Yes, I said, smiling. Did you? Better than I have in weeks. We had breakfast together, and this time we actually talked. Not about business or logistics, but real things. He told me about his childhood, about how he used to build blanket forts with his grandfather. I told him about growing up in the bookstore, about how I used to hide between the shelves and read for hours. You really love books, Kian observed. I do. They are like windows into other worlds. What is your favorite? I thought about it. Pride and Prejudice. Why that one? Because it is about 2 people who completely misunderstand each other at first, but they grow and change and learn to see past their own prejudices. And they fall in love because of it, not in spite of it. Kian was quiet for a moment. Then he said, Maybe you could read it to me sometime. My heart soared. Really? I want to understand the things you love, he said simply. That became our new routine. We would have breakfast together. He would go to work, but he would text me during the day. Just small things like, Mrs. Chan says hello, or thinking about trying that new restaurant for dinner. And at night, I would read to him. We would sit on the couch, and I would read Pride and Prejudice while he listened. Sometimes he would ask questions. Sometimes he would just watch me. And slowly, the distance between us on the couch shrank. 1 week after our night on the balcony, Kian came home with bags. What is this? I asked. I noticed your room is pretty bare, he said, looking embarrassed. I thought maybe you would like some things to make it feel more like yours. There are books, some art supplies since you mentioned you used to draw, and... He pulled out a soft blue blanket. This looked comfortable. I stared at the gifts, emotion welling up in my chest. You did not have to do this. I wanted to, he said. I want you to feel like this is your home, not just a place you are staying. I set the bags down and walked over to him. Kian, this is the kindest thing anyone has ever done for me. It is just some stuff, he mumbled, but he looked pleased. It is not just stuff. It is thoughtful. It is you paying attention. It means everything. He pulled me into a hug then, a real one, not awkward or forced. His arms wrapped around me, and I felt safe in a way I never had before. Thank you for being patient with me, he murmured into my hair. Thank you for trying, I said back. We ordered takeout that night and ate it on the couch while watching a movie. Kian sat close enough that our shoulders touched. And when I yawned and leaned my head on his shoulder, he did not move away. Instead, his arm came around me, holding me there. Elliot, he said quietly. Yes. I like it when you call me darling. My heart stopped. You do. I did not at first. Felt too intimate. Too real. But now. He paused. Now it feels like maybe I have earned it. I tilted my head up to look at him. You have. He kissed me then, soft and sweet. And when we broke apart, he smiled. Actually smiled. It transformed his entire face, making him look younger and happier and absolutely beautiful. There it is, I said, touching his cheek. What? Your smile. I have been waiting to see it. Get used to it, he said. I have a feeling you are going to make me smile a lot. And he did. Over the next few weeks, I saw Kian smile more and more. He laughed at my bad jokes. He playfully argued with me about which movie to watch. He started joining me at my parents' bookstore on weekends, helping organize shelves and talking to customers. My parents loved him. My father especially. They would sit and discuss books for hours while I worked the register. Your husband is a good man, my dad told me one afternoon. I know, I said, watching Kian carefully arrange a display. I am really lucky. He is the lucky one, my dad corrected. You brought him back to life. Maybe that was true, but he was bringing me to life too. Every day felt like discovering something new. Not just about him, but about us together. But I should have known it could not last. Happiness is always temporary, and sometimes the past does not stay buried. Everything shattered on a Tuesday. I came home from the bookstore early, excited because I had found a first edition of one of Kian's favorite books at an estate sale. I wanted to surprise him, but when I opened the penthouse door, I heard voices. Kian was home early too, and he was not alone. You cannot keep avoiding this, Kian, a woman's voice said. It was sharp, educated, confident. I am not avoiding anything, Victoria, Kian replied. His voice sounded tired. I froze in the entryway. I should have announced myself, but something made me stay quiet. Then explain to me why you married some random Omega instead of honoring our agreement, Victoria said. Our families have been planning this for years. You and I were supposed to be engaged by now. My blood ran cold. That was before, Kian said. Things changed. Nothing changed. Your grandfather got sentimental and forced you into a ridiculous arrangement. But it does not have to be permanent. These things can be annulled. We can still. Stop, Kian interrupted. Just stop, Victoria. Why? Because you have developed feelings for this nobody? She laughed, but it was not a kind sound. Please, you are Kian Ashford. You do not do feelings. Whatever you think you feel, it is just novelty. It will pass. You do not know what you are talking about. Do not I? I have known you since we were children. Kian, I know exactly who you are. Cold, calculating, practical. This domestic fantasy you are playing at, it is not you. Come back to reality. Come back to me. Silence. My hands were shaking. I should leave. I should not be hearing this. But my feet would not move. Victoria, Kian said finally, I am married. That is not going to change. Because of a contract? Contracts can be broken. Because I want to be married, Kian said, his voice firm. To Elliot. Relief flooded through me. But then Victoria laughed again. For how long? A few months until the novelty wears off. A year? What happens when you get bored of playing house? What happens when you realize that pretty Omegas are common, but partners who understand your world are rare? Elliot understands me better than you ever did. Does he? Does he understand the pressure you are under? The expectations? Does he understand what it means to be connected to the Ashford name? Or is he just enjoying the money and the status while playing at being your devoted husband? That is enough, Kian said, his voice going dangerous. You need to leave. Fine. I will go. But think about what I said, Kian. Think about what you are really throwing away. When you come to your senses, call me. I heard footsteps approaching the door. I barely had time to duck into the hallway before a tall, beautiful woman emerged. She had perfect blonde hair, designer clothes, and the kind of confidence that came from a lifetime of privilege. She did not even glance in my direction as she swept past and into the elevator. I stood there for a moment trying to calm my racing heart. Then I took a breath and walked into the penthouse. Kian was standing by the window, his shoulders tense. He turned when he heard me. "Elliot," he said, "I did not know you were home. I just got here." I lied. I held up the book. "Found something for you." He took it, but he barely looked at it. "That is great. Thank you." The air felt wrong. Heavy. "Is everything okay?" I asked carefully. "Fine," he said, but he would not meet my eyes. I wanted to push. I wanted to ask about Victoria, about what she meant, about the agreement she mentioned. But something stopped me. Maybe fear. Maybe pride. "Okay," I said quietly. "I will start dinner." That night was painful. We ate in near silence. Kian was distant again, back behind his walls. It was like the past few weeks had never happened. I tried to read to him after dinner, but he said he had work to do. He disappeared into his home office and did not come out. I lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, Victoria's words echoing in my head. "Pretty omegas are common. Playing at being your devoted husband. When the novelty wears off." Was that all I was? A novelty? A distraction? The next few days were worse. Kian was polite but distant. He worked late. Our morning breakfasts became rushed and silent. He stopped texting during the day. I tried to act normal, but I could feel him pulling away, and I did not know how to stop it. Finally, on Friday night, I could not take it anymore. Kian came home late again, heading straight for his office. "We need to talk," I said, blocking his path. "Elliot, I have a lot of work." "I heard her," I interrupted. "Victoria. I heard everything she said." Kian went very still. "You were eavesdropping?" "I came home and heard voices. I did not mean to listen, but I did. And now I need to know the truth." "Who is she?" He ran his hand through his hair. "She is someone I have known for a long time." "Were you supposed to marry her?" "Our families had an understanding, but it was never official." "An understanding?" I repeated. "You were engaged." "No, there was never a proposal. Never any real commitment. It was just expected. And then your grandfather arranged our marriage instead." "Yes." I laughed, but it sounded bitter even to my own ears. "So I really am just the replacement, the second choice." "That is not true," Kian said, finally meeting my eyes. "Is not it? You were supposed to marry someone from your world, someone who understands your life. Instead, you got stuck with me. A nobody omega from a bookstore." "Stop it." "Why? It is the truth, is not it?" "She is right. I do not understand your world. I do not know how to navigate these social circles. I am not sophisticated or connected. I am just—" "You are everything," Kian interrupted, his voice fierce. "You are kind and genuine, and you make me want to be better. Victoria is wrong about you. She is wrong about me." "Then why have you been avoiding me all week?" I demanded. "Why did you pull away the second she showed up?" "Because I am scared," he shouted. Then softer, "I am scared." "Of what?" "That she is right," he admitted. "That this is just novelty. That eventually I will mess this up and hurt you the way my father hurt my mother. That I do not know how to be what you need. So your solution is to push me away first?" "I do not know what my solution is, Elliot. I am trying to figure this out. But it is hard when I have never done this before. I have never let anyone this close. And now you are regretting it," I said quietly. "No," he said firmly. He stepped closer, taking my face in his hands. "I do not regret you. I do not regret us. But I am terrified that I am going to fail you." Tears burned my eyes. "You are failing me right now by shutting me out." His thumbs wiped away the tears that spilled over. "I am sorry. I am so sorry." Do you want this marriage? I asked, my voice shaking. Do you want me? Because if you do not, tell me now. Do not let me keep hoping for something that is never going to happen. I want you, Kian said, his voice raw. God help me. I want you so much it scares me. I think about you constantly. When I am at work, I am thinking about coming home to you. When I am with you, I am thinking about how I do not deserve you. You have taken over my entire life, Elliot. And I do not know what to do with that. I stared at him, my heart pounding. You are supposed to let me in. You are supposed to trust that we can figure this out together. I do not know how. Then learn, I said. I am learning how to be married to someone like you. You can learn how to be married to someone like me. He pulled me into his arms, holding me tight. I do not want to hurt you. Then do not push me away, I said against his chest. Hurt me by staying. Hurt me by trying. But do not hurt me by giving up. We stood there in the hallway holding each other. And slowly, I felt his walls start to come down again. I will try, he whispered. I promise I will try. That night, for the first time, I did not sleep in my room. Kian asked me to stay with him, and I did. We lay in his bed, fully clothed, just holding each other in the dark. Tell me about her, I said quietly. About Victoria. She is what my family expected, Kian said. Smart, connected, ambitious. We were friends as children. As we got older, everyone assumed we would marry eventually. And I thought that was fine. Marriage was a practical arrangement anyway. It did not matter who. But then you met me. Then I married you, he corrected. And I realized that it does matter. It matters so much. Do you love her? No, he said without hesitation. I never did. I respected her. I liked her well enough. But love? No. I wanted to ask if he loved me, but I was too scared of the answer. Instead, I asked, what do you want, Kian? From this marriage? From me? He was quiet for a long time. Then, I want to come home and have you there. I want to tell you about my day and hear about yours. I want to make you smile. I want to learn what makes you happy and spend my life doing those things. I want. He paused. I want this to be real. It is real, I whispered. It has been real for me for a while now. He kissed the top of my head. Then let me catch up. Let me figure out how to be the husband you deserve. You already are, I said. We fell asleep like that, tangled together. And when I woke up in the morning, Kian was still there, watching me with soft eyes. Good morning, darling, he said. And I knew we were going to be okay. Things changed after that night. Not overnight, but gradually, like ice melting in spring. Kian started keeping his promises. He came home for dinner every night. He asked about my day and actually listened to the answers. He showed up at the bookstore during his lunch breaks, not because he had to, but because he wanted to see me. My parents noticed the change immediately. He looks at you differently now, my mom said one afternoon while Kian was helping a customer find a book. Like you are the only person in the room. I watched him laugh at something the customer said, his whole face lighting up. He is trying really hard. And you? My mom asked. Are you happy? I thought about it. About the mornings when I woke up in Kian's arms. About the nights when he read to me instead of me reading to him. About the small touches throughout the day, his hand on my back, his fingers brushing mine. Yes, I said. I am really happy. But of course, life is never that simple. Victoria did not give up. She started showing up places. At restaurants when we had dinner. At charity events Kian had to attend. Always friendly, always proper. But her presence was a reminder of what Kian was supposed to want. She is relentless, I muttered one evening after seeing her at yet another gala. She is persistent, Kian agreed. But she is wasting her time. Why do you not just tell her directly to stop? I have, multiple times. But Victoria is not used to hearing no. Her father and mine have been business partners for decades. She thinks that connection gives her leverage. Does it? I asked quietly. Kian pulled me closer. We were in the car, heading home from the event. Nothing she says or does will change my mind about us. You believe that, right? I am trying to, I admitted. What can I do to make you believe it? I looked at him. In the dim light of the car, his silver eyes were earnest. Just keep choosing me. Every day. That is all I need. Done, he said simply. Then he kissed me, soft and sure. But the real test came 2 weeks later. Kian's father called. He wanted to have dinner. With both of us. He has been avoiding meeting you, Kian admitted as we got ready. But he is back in the country for a board meeting. We cannot put it off anymore. I could tell Kian was nervous. He changed his tie 3 times and kept checking his watch. It will be fine, I assured him, straightening his collar. You do not know my father, Kian said. He is difficult. That was an understatement. Kian's father, Richard Ashford, was a tall man with graying hair and cold eyes. He looked at me the way someone might look at a stain on their expensive carpet, with distaste and confusion about how it got there. So you are the Omega my father forced on my son, were his first words to me. Dad, Kian said, his voice tight. What? I am just stating facts. This arrangement came out of nowhere. No consultation with me, no discussion of the family interests. Richard sat down at the head of the table. Tell me, Elliot, what exactly did your family get out of this deal? My father needed medical care, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Your family helped with that. Ah, so it was a financial transaction. At least that is honest. He picked up his menu. Well, you got what you needed. Congratulations. That is enough, Kian said. I am just trying to understand this situation, Richard said. You were supposed to marry Victoria, merge 2 powerful families. Instead, you married some bookstore Omega. Surely you can understand my confusion. Elliot is not some Omega, Kian said, his jaw tight. He is my husband, and you will treat him with respect. Respect needs to be earned. Then maybe you should try earning his, Kian shot back. Because right now, you are showing exactly why I wanted nothing to do with your plans for my life. Richard's eyes narrowed. Careful, son. I am still the head of this family. And I am the heir, Kian said. The company will be mine eventually. So maybe you should think about how you want our relationship to be going forward. The tension at the table was thick enough to cut. I felt like I could not breathe. Perhaps, I said quietly, we should talk about something else. Both men looked at me. Richard looked annoyed that I had spoken. But Kian looked grateful. Elliot is right, Kian said. We are here to have dinner, not to fight. Richard studied me for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he nodded. Fine. Tell me about yourself, Elliot. What do you do besides spend my son's money? I work at my parents' bookstore, I said. I have been helping them manage it since I was 16. A bookstore? How quaint. It is actually quite successful, I said, finding my courage. We specialize in rare and first edition books. We have clients all over the country. And does this bookstore make any actual profit? Enough to keep 3 families employed and support the local community, I replied. Not everything is about maximum profit margins. Kian coughed to hide a laugh. Richard, however, did not look amused. You are naive if you think business is about anything other than profit. I think business can be about community and sustainability too, I said. But maybe we just have different values. Clearly, Richard said. The rest of the dinner was awkward. Richard asked pointed questions designed to make me feel small. I answered them as honestly as I could. Kian defended me at every turn, getting more and more frustrated with his father. Finally, dessert arrived. Richard set down his fork and looked at Kian. This marriage is a mistake, he said bluntly. You know it. I know it. The board knows it. You are letting sentiment cloud your judgment. The only mistake I made was listening to you for so long, Kian said. Elliot is the best thing that has ever happened to me. And if you cannot see that, then maybe we do not need to have these dinners anymore. Richard stood up. You are making a fool of yourself. When this fails, and it will fail, do not come crying to me. He left without another word. I sat there, feeling small and ashamed. I am sorry, I whispered. For what? Kian asked. For coming between you and your father. You did not come between us, Kian said firmly. He took my hand across the table. He did this all on his own. Years and years of caring more about the company than his family. I will not make the same mistakes he did. But he is right about one thing, I said. I do not fit in your world. I do not know how to navigate these social dynamics. I am just. You are genuine, Kian interrupted. You are honest. You are kind. And those things are worth more than all the social skills and business connections in the world. Do you understand me? I nodded, blinking back tears. Come on, Kian said, standing. Let's go home. In the car, I leaned against him, suddenly exhausted. Your father hates me. My father hates everyone, Kian said. Even himself, probably. Do not take it personally. How can I not? Because I love you. The words hung in the air. I froze, then slowly sat up to look at him. What did you say? Kian's face was flushed, but his eyes were determined. I love you, Elliot. I have been trying to figure out how to say it for weeks, and I am sorry I picked such a terrible moment. But it is true. I love you. My heart was hammering so hard I thought it might break out of my chest. You love me. Yes, I love how you hum when you cook. I love how you tuck your hair behind your ear when you are concentrating. I love how you always see the best in people, even when they do not deserve it. I love coming home to you. I love waking up with you. I love you. Tears spilled down my cheeks. I love you too. I have loved you for a while now. He pulled me into a kiss, deep and sweet and full of promise. And in that moment, I did not care about his father or Victoria or anyone else, because Kian Ashford loved me, and I loved him. Everything else was just noise. I thought that after Kian said he loved me, everything would be perfect. I thought we had overcome the worst of it. I was wrong. The trouble started with a phone call. Kian's grandfather was getting worse. The doctors said it was time to think about long-term care. Kian was devastated. He practically raised me, Kian told me one night. We were lying in bed, and he had not slept properly in days. After my mother died, when my father threw himself into work and basically forgot I existed, my grandfather was there. He taught me everything important. Not about business, about life. He is a strong man, I said, running my fingers through Kian's hair. He will pull through. But even I did not believe it. Kian started spending every spare moment at the hospital. I went with him when I could, but I also tried to give him space with his grandfather. They needed this time together, but the stress was taking its toll. Kian was working himself to exhaustion, trying to keep the company running while dealing with his grandfather's illness. He stopped eating properly. He stopped sleeping. You need to take care of yourself, I told him after finding him passed out at his desk at 3 in the morning. I am fine, he insisted, but he could barely keep his eyes open. You are not fine, darling. Please, let me help. You cannot help with this, he snapped. Then, seeing my hurt expression, he softened. I am sorry. I need to handle this. But he was not handling it. He was drowning. And then Victoria called him. I only knew because I saw his phone light up with her name. Kian was in the shower, so I did not answer it. But it bothered me. Why was she still calling him? When Kian came out, I mentioned it. Victoria called. His expression shuddered. I will deal with it later. Why is she still calling you? It is about business. Her father and mine are finalizing a deal. That is all. Yes, Elliot. That is all. He sounded annoyed. Can we not do this right now? I backed off, but the worry stayed with me. The next week, things came to a head. I was at the bookstore when my mom pulled me aside. Honey, there is something you should know. She showed me her phone. It was a gossip website, the kind that covered high society drama. And there, in full color, was a photo of Kian and Victoria having coffee together. The headline read, Trouble in Paradise? Ashford heir spotted with former flame while young husband nowhere in sight. My stomach dropped. I am sure it is nothing, my mom said quickly. These websites make up stories all the time. But I could not stop staring at the photo. Kian was leaning forward, talking intently. Victoria had her hand on his arm. They looked intimate, close. I tried to push it out of my mind. I tried to trust him. But doubt is a poison that spreads quickly. That evening, when Kian came home, I showed him the article. What is this? I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. He barely glanced at it. It is nothing. We had a meeting about the merger between our companies. You did not tell me you were meeting with her. Because it was not important, he said, his voice tired. It was just business. It looks like more than business. He sighed, running his hand through his hair. Elliot, I am exhausted. My grandfather is dying. I am trying to keep the company from falling apart. I do not have the energy for this right now. For what? For our marriage. For jealousy over nothing. He raised his voice, then caught himself. I am sorry, but you need to trust me. Victoria is nothing to me. Then why does she keep showing up? Why does she keep calling? Why were you having coffee with her and not telling me about it? Because I knew you would react exactly like this, he shouted. I knew you would blow it out of proportion. His words hit me like a slap. So this is my fault? I am the problem. I did not say that. You just did. Tears burned my eyes. You know what, Kian? Maybe your father was right. Maybe we are too different. Maybe this was a mistake. Do not say that, he said, his voice dropping. Do not you dare say that. Why not? You are thinking it. I am not. Then what are you thinking? Because right now it feels like you are pushing me away again. Like every time things get hard, you shut me out. I am trying to protect you, he yelled. You do not understand the pressure I am under, the expectations, the responsibility. My grandfather is dying. My father is circling like a vulture waiting to take over. The board is questioning my leadership. And Victoria is... He stopped abruptly. Victoria is what? I asked quietly. Nothing. Forget it. No. Tell me. Victoria is what? Kian looked away. She offered to help. With the company situation. She has connections that could stabilize things. And what does she want in return? Silence. Kian. What does she want? It does not matter because I told her no, he said firmly. What did she want? I repeated. She suggested that if I needed support, real support from someone who understands this world, she would be there. That maybe we should reconsider. He stopped. Reconsider what? My voice was shaking. Your marriage? Us? I said no, Elliot. I told her I love you. I told her to back off. But you considered it. The realization hit me like a truck. Even for a second, you considered it. No. When she said it, for one moment I thought about how much easier it would be. How much simpler. But then I thought about you and... Get out, I said quietly. What? Get out of this apartment. I need you to leave. Right now. Elliot, you are overreacting. I am overreacting? I laughed, but it sounded broken. Your ex basically propositioned you to leave your husband, and you admitted you thought about it, and I am overreacting? I said no. I chose you. After you thought about choosing her. I was crying now, full on sobbing. Do you know what it feels like to know that when things got hard, your first instinct was to wonder if you made a mistake? That is not fair. Life is not fair. Kian, marriage is not fair, but it requires trust. And right now, I do not trust you. So please, just go. He stared at me for a long moment. I saw anger flash in his eyes, then hurt, then resignation. Fine, he said quietly. I will stay at a hotel tonight. Give you some space. He packed a bag and left without another word. I collapsed on the couch and cried until I had no tears left. Then I just sat there in the empty apartment, wondering how everything had fallen apart so quickly. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Kian. I love you. Please remember that. I did not respond. That night was the longest of my life. I kept reaching for Kian in bed. forgetting he was not there. The apartment felt cold and empty without him. In the morning, my phone rang. It was Kian's number. "Hello," I answered, my voice hoarse from crying. But it was not Kian. It was a nurse from the hospital. "Is this Elliot Ashford? You are listed as next of kin for Kian Ashford. He has been in an accident." My blood ran cold. "What kind of accident?" "Car accident. He is stable, but you should come to the hospital." I do not remember the drive. I just remember running through the hospital halls, my heart pounding, terror making it hard to breathe. I found him in a hospital room. He had a bandage around his head, bruises on his face, and his arm was in a sling. But he was alive. "Darling," I breathed, rushing to his side. His eyes opened. When he saw me, relief flooded his face. "Elliot, you came." "Of course I came, you idiot. What happened?" "I was driving to a hotel. I was not paying attention. I ran a red light and—" He winced. "Another car hit me. I am okay, though. Just some bruises and a concussion." I wanted to yell at him. I wanted to cry. Instead, I just took his hand and held it tight. "I am so sorry," he whispered. "I am sorry for everything. You were right. When things got hard, I started shutting you out. And when Victoria offered an easy solution for one stupid second, I considered it. Not because I wanted her, but because I was scared of failing you, of not being enough." "You are enough," I said, tears streaming down my face. "You have always been enough." "I love you," he said. "I love you so much it terrifies me. And I will spend the rest of my life proving that to you if you let me." "You almost died," I said, my voice breaking. "You could have died. And the last thing I said to you was to get out. But I did not die. I am here. And I am not going anywhere." I leaned down and kissed him, careful of his injuries. "I love you too, even when I am angry, even when you are an idiot. I love you." "So we are okay?" he asked hopefully. "We will be," I said. "But things need to change. We need to communicate better. You need to let me in even when things are hard. Especially when things are hard." "I know. And I will. I promise." A nurse came in to check on him. After she left, Kian pulled me down to sit on the edge of his bed. "I fired Victoria's father's company from the merger," he said. "And I told Victoria that if she contacts me again, I will file a restraining order." "You did not have to." "Yes, I did. Because you are my priority. Not business. Not appearances. You." I smiled through my tears. "Good answer, darling." He squeezed my hand. "I am never giving you a reason to doubt me again." And looking into his eyes, I believed him. Kian's accident was a wake-up call for both of us. Life is too short to waste it being afraid or proud or stubborn. His grandfather passed away 2 weeks after the accident. It was peaceful. He went in his sleep, surrounded by family. At the funeral, Kian gave a eulogy that made everyone cry. He talked about love, about choosing happiness, about not wasting the time we have. "My grandfather told me that loving someone is scary," Kian said, his voice steady despite the tears on his face. "But not loving someone when you have the chance, that is the real tragedy." He loved my grandmother with everything he had. And when she was gone, he did not regret a single moment they spent together. That is the kind of love I want. That is the kind of love I have found. He looked at me in the front row, and I knew he was not just talking about his grandparents anymore. After the funeral, things slowly started to settle. Kian took a leave from work to process his grief. We spent those weeks together, just being present for each other. We talked. We cried. We laughed at old memories. We cooked together. We took long walks. We rediscovered what it meant to just be two people who loved each other. "I have been thinking," Kian said one morning over breakfast, "about what I want to do with my life. And," I prompted, "I do not want to be like my father. I do not want to sacrifice everything for the company. I want balance. I want a life outside of work." "What would that look like?" "I want to cut back my hours. I want to spend more time with you. Maybe we could travel, see the world together, and—" He paused. I have been thinking about your bookstore. What about it? What if we expanded it? Made it something bigger? Not just selling books, but hosting events. Author readings. Book clubs. Maybe a cafe? We could turn it into a real community hub. My heart swelled. You want to help with the bookstore? If you want me to, I think it would be fun. Working on something together. Building something that matters. I reached across the table and took his hand. I would love that. And so we did. Over the next few months, we poured our energy into transforming the bookstore. Kian was surprisingly good at the business side, negotiating with contractors, managing budgets, creating marketing plans. But he also loved the creative parts. He helped design the cafe space. He organized the first author event. He even started a recommendation board where he posted his favorite books. The bookstore thrived. It became exactly what we hoped. A warm, welcoming space where people gathered. My parents were thrilled. My father's health had improved dramatically with proper treatment, and he loved seeing the store expand. You boys did good, he told us one day. This is what I always dreamed of. Kian smiled. We are just getting started. On our 1-year anniversary, Kian surprised me. He picked me up from the bookstore early and drove us out of the city. I had no idea where we were going. Is this a kidnapping? I joked. Maybe, he said, his eyes twinkling. Would you mind? Depends on where we are going. We drove for about an hour before pulling up to a beautiful house by a lake. It was not huge or ostentatious, but it was perfect. All warm wood and big windows with a porch that overlooked the water. What is this? I asked. Our anniversary present, Kian said. To ourselves. You bought a house? Technically, we bought a house. I put both our names on it. The penthouse is fine, but it is not really us, you know? Too cold. Too modern. I thought maybe we needed a place that felt like home. Somewhere we could escape to on weekends. Maybe full-time eventually. I stared at the house, then at him. You did this for us? I did it for you, he corrected. Everything I do is for you. I kissed him right there in the driveway, not caring that the real estate agent was probably watching from inside. I love you so much, I said against his lips. I love you more, he replied. Come on, let me show you around. The house was perfect. There was a huge kitchen for me to cook in, a library for both of us to read in, a master bedroom with a view of the lake, an office where Kian could work when needed, and a guest room that, Kian suggested, could maybe someday be a nursery. A nursery? I asked, my heart skipping. I mean, only if you want. No pressure. But I have been thinking about the future, about what I want. And I want everything with you, Elliot. I want lazy mornings and big holidays. I want to grow old together. And maybe, if you want, I would love to have a family with you. Tears filled my eyes. I want that too. Yeah. He picked me up and spun me around, both of us laughing like kids. That night, we stayed at the lake house. We made dinner together in our new kitchen. We sat on the porch and watched the sunset. We talked about the future, about all the possibilities ahead of us. Do you ever regret it? I asked as we lay in bed, tangled together. The arranged marriage? How it all started. Never, Kian said firmly. Best thing my grandfather ever did. Though I am sorry for how I acted at first. You were scared. I was an idiot, he corrected. But you were patient with me. You saw something in me worth waiting for. I saw you, darling. The real you. Under all that ice. He kissed my forehead. You melted it. All of it. The next morning, I woke to find Kian already awake, watching me. Creepy? I mumbled, still half asleep. You are beautiful in the morning, he said. I like watching you wake up. Still creepy, but sweet. He laughed, pulling me closer. I have a question for you. We are already married, so this is sort of backwards. But, he reached into the nightstand and pulled out a small box. I never properly proposed. I never got down on one knee and asked you to be my husband. I never gave you a ring. I sat up, suddenly wide awake. Kian got out of bed and actually knelt beside it. Elliot Hayes Ashford. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. You make me laugh. You make me think. You make me want to be better. Every day with you is a gift. So even though we are already married, I am asking you now, will you stay married to me? Will you choose me every day the way I choose you? Will you build this life with me? Yes? I whispered, tears streaming down my face. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. He slid the ring onto my finger. It was simple and elegant. A silver band with a small diamond. Perfect. I love you, he said. I love you too, darling. We spent the rest of the weekend at the lake house, just being together. No work, no obligations, just us. And as I sat on the porch Sunday evening, watching Kian skip rocks across the lake, I thought about how far we had come. From strangers at an altar to partners in life. From cold silence to warm laughter. From an arrangement to a real marriage. It had not been easy. We had fought and doubted and nearly broken. But we had chosen each other. Every single day we chose each other. And I knew, deep in my bones, that I would keep choosing him for the rest of my life. Hey! Kian called from the lake. Come here. I want to show you something. I walked down to meet him. He took my hand and pointed at the water. The sunset was reflecting off the surface, turning everything golden. This is us, he said. Beautiful. Shining. Together. That is really cheesy, darling. I know, but it is true. I leaned my head on his shoulder. I like your cheesy side. Good. Because you are stuck with it forever. Forever, I agreed. I like the sound of that. He kissed the top of my head. Forever starts now. And standing there by the lake, the sun setting behind us, I knew he was right. This was not the end of our story. It was just the beginning. A beginning we had chosen together. A beginning built on love, trust, and the simple words I whispered every day. I love you, darling. And he would always whisper back, I love you more. Our forever had begun.